On the 3rd of March, the EWTN Vatican Bureau hosted Roman Nights, an event that brings together people from across Rome to discuss topics of faith, culture, and religion. The event panelists explored the topic of vocations. Two of the speakers, Sister Emanuela Edwards and Father Joseph Roesch, have religious vocations, and the other, Luigi Di Costanzo, works in the corporate world as a consultant. They not only discussed the similarities of religious and lay vocations, but also each described how they discovered their own vocation. For Sister Emanuela, it was something that she found after working as a financial consultant in the City of London for many years.
My friend invited me to get involved, and we formed a prayer group, and every Monday night, no matter what my professional responsibilities were, I would participate and lead this group dedicated to Our Lady. As time went on, I began to sense that, there was a fire that burned inside me when I would attend the prayer group, which I didn't feel in my professional life. And then suddenly, after a number of years, this matured over the years, and it was a pilgrimage to Rome, or a holiday really to Rome with a friend. And I was kind of asking the Lord at that time, what do you really want of my life? I was about to be appointed to the main board of the company. I had all the worldly successes, but I visited the grotto at Tre Fontane, and there I asked Our Lady, what does she really want of my life? And I got the answer. And it was such a shock. I went white, and I thought, gosh, it's as if that moment, everybody says, the moment when there's that clarity, God's plan.
While the speakers all agreed that our own emotional feelings can lead us away from our vocations, Father Joseph Roesch described how the feeling of peace that he felt in the religious community that he joined allowed him to recognize his vocation.
I was working at the tickets booth in Times Square in New York City, but I felt called to the priesthood, so I was going to a Franciscan parish in Manhattan. I was going to confession regularly. The Lord, we were talking to her earlier about feelings, and the Lord can use those feelings to help us. For instance, at that time, it was not hard for me to pray. I just felt a hunger to pray, a desire to pray. Now, you won't feel that all your life, but at that point, when the Lord was trying to reel me in, He gave me that grace to really feel the comfort of prayer. And then when I visited my religious community for the first time, I just felt at home there. I felt like it was fit like a glove. I felt this is where I need to be. So the Lord uses our feelings sometimes to help us.
Luigi Di Costanzo discussed the ways in which his faith is intertwined with his vocation in the executive field.
It's not just to speak about, to say prayer or other stuff, but trying to look for something more deep, to look for God inside the things I'm doing. At the time I was studying, he was studying, he was a little bit more young, more elder than me. I said, why don't you try to offer to God this time that you are spending on your books, on your maths, on your physics? And I started to do this, and after a little bit, I discovered my vocation, let us say in this way, that was become a professional, and at the same time use my profession to try to not just use this profession for myself, but for people around me, and to look for God inside my time, my ordinary time.
And as Sister Emanuela reminded us, a vocation is simply doing what the Lord has called us to do.
Catherine of Siena has that wonderful phrase, you'd set the world on fire if we do what God calls us to be. And that comes about when we do the project that the Lord has for us.
As Christians, we're called to an adventure with the Lord by discovering our project, our calling, our vocation.